Alastair MacDirk. Here is Alastair MacDirk. He was an old Scotsman with a long broadsword, and he would hack off heads. All right, that's the best Scottish I can do right now. All right, so here we have the Book of Alastair MacDirk. Jandar is a general. He's human. He's a unique hero. He's a champion. He's valiant. He's a medium 5. Has a special ability, overextended attack. Wait, I'll do the special ability last. 6 life, 5 spaces, 1 space range, attack 5. That is super. Defense 3, 110 points. Overextended attack is the special ability, and that's really all he needs. After taking a turn with Alastair MacDirk, you may place a wound marker on Alastair MacDirk and take another turn with him. You may only use this power once during a round. That's very important, because there's one time me and Jason were playing, and I was using Alastair MacDirk, and I misread that instruction, and I totally was destroying Jason until we realized, oh yeah, once per round, right? I'm sorry. So yes, that did happen. Let me bring this back up. Okay, so there he is. Really a whopper of a character. So when it comes to the stats and how he's played, and of course he's got the MacDirk Warriors to synergize with as well as others. How would you guys think about this particular hero?
He's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Overextended attack is pretty risky. I think it's way better for Elgrim than Alastair, but I think thematically it works for him. But yeah, no, obviously when you use him with the MacDirk Warriors, because they have the Highland Fury power that I think they get. If I just read this through real quick, they're getting extra attack die based on how many wounds he has. So he's a good one to pair with that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to overextended attack, it might be a good one to use to wipe out enemies like early in the beginning, like when he's still at a full 6 life, so you can kind of risk, removing 1 or 2 or putting 1 or 2 wound markers on him, and still just waylaying at people to really get a good few good scores at the very beginning of the game, when you're just starting to attack, I think.
And then you could also like leave him in the back and like kind of just wound him so that your MacDirk Warriors get like boosted, and you just leave him in the back so he's not in danger of getting attacked.
That's true too. That is very true. Whereas with the human champion bonding as well, for sure. Because if that means, right, because if you just use him to take turns, then potentially you could have a squad. That's a good loophole, Dom, actually, to where a squad can take 2 turns at once. Yeah. Yeah, is that how that works? I think that's how it works.
No, I don't know where you're going with that. What do you mean?
Wait,
2 turns
no, because with the MacDirk Warriors, they have like a ability. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know it boosts their. I think it's their attack.
Yeah, For each wound he has.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different bonding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. That would kind of make sense, but yeah, it's kind of more of a attack boost for your squads, which is kind of nice.
And they start at 2, which is nuts. So, even at half life for him, they each have attack of 5. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Is there anything with the MacDirk Warriors to prevent them from multiple squads having the same champion? So could you have like 4 of their squads? It's one champion?
Yeah, it's one champion. And they're common, so it's going to work for everybody.
Bring them up a second. Okay, MacDirk Warriors.
If they were unique, that would be different.
Okay,
like-
okay. Yeah, it's the human champion that goes first. I'm sorry, with the bonding. So before taking a turn with MacDirk Warriors, you may first take a turn with any human champion you control. So that's how that works. Okay, I'm sorry. So I got confused on who was taking the turn with those things. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so there can only be one human champion for all the MacDirk Warriors. So no matter how many
potentially have a whole squad of these guys with 5 attack dice running around, because they all could activate MacDirk in the back, or he could just double move and run around in circles. You end up with like 16 common squad guys, each with like 4, 5, 6 attack dice.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just, like, let's say
Actually
overextend
work
attack in the beginning, and then you're just running around with attack of 3 or even 4. I mean, the 80 points is pretty high for a squad, but I guess it's not too far off from taking 10th Reg, which are 75 each. So, in a 500-point army, you're taking 5 or 6 of these if you want. And they're a squad of 4, so you can get at least 15 to 20 of these guys on the board with all each attack of 4 or 5. You're wrecking shop.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane.
And then it is like kind of interesting if because you could run him in and then you'd be getting potentially 5 attacks, right? Which is really nice. But I don't know. It's kind of up to like what kind of army you're playing against, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rogue Idealist says throw in Finn for his aura boost, and now you're cooking.
Honestly, you just pod them up with Finn. No, for sure. And then once Finn dies, you put Finn on Alastair, and then he's still working for the team.
Yep. For sure. And for people who are just like getting started with Heroscape, building the armies, and just like looking at some like miniatures that are like the cost is like $200, $100 to $200 for, some of these. I mean, Alastair is, I think it's fairly reasonable to find. Sometimes you could find them and find them in a lot, like selling on eBay or Goodwill or something. So fairly easy miniature to get. I don't know about the MacDirk Warriors themselves, but I know I've seen them because I've experienced this like over time and just like eBay auctions and such, that sometimes you could end up with these guys for a relatively reasonable price.
Alastair MacDirk's about $20 in eBay right now. The squad is about $40.
Yeah, like I said, the squad's a little bit more expensive. It is.
No. You gotta get that. You gotta just get them 3D printed.
Yeah, 3D printed. That's
go to Trixie 3D.
That's the beauty of the 3D print. Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Banging store.
That's the beauty of that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I just got a ton of zombies 3D printed. I just painted them, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's go to some of the lore of Alastair here. It says there's an old Scottish saying: "The swifter the storm, the stronger it is." When Jandar found Alastair, and wait a second, I gotta move this over, running to the front of the battle lines, he knew this was one of the most adventurous warriors he had ever seen. It is said that Alastair can run all day without tiring, but his wounds on that day were too severe. So Jandar took him to Valhalla. Kelda healed his wounds, and now Alastair and his claymore fight in Valhalla. As a boy of 12, he fought alongside his father against Edward II. As a man, he continued to fight for Scottish independence. The clan MacDirk has always had the fiercest soldiers in the Highlands of Scotland, and Alastair is one of their finest. And Rogue Idealist, I was about to do it. Freedom! Rogue Idealist says, if you don't yell freedom while playing this character, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, I see. And if to all you out there, if you have not watched, what is the name of the movie? Dang it, what is the name of the movie?
Braveheart.
Braveheart. Thank you.
There you go.
I lose my
American
mind.
fan.
If you have not watched this movie, go watch this movie. And it's actually a good movie to watch with a honey too, as well. If you've got a girlfriend, got a wife, watch it with her, because not only is it a man movie to where it's just fighting and blood and battles and stuff, there's also romance in there. It's the wonderful mix of a movie where men go and the women go ah. So anyway, yes, go watch that. All right, promotion done. So anyway, any other thoughts on the lore from this? Obviously, it's pointing towards that movie. Someone must have loved Braveheart to create this miniature. Anything else we can glean from this character bio?
Oh. See.
I guess I'm pointing it to the lore master himself. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I did some digging. Found it interesting. Braveheart. So Braveheart, the movie, is about William Wallace. William Wallace fought against Edward I, right? As far as we understand the history of it. This character was fighting against Edward II when he was 12. So did some digging. I'm assuming, and this is just a guess because my Scottish history is very, very little, unfortunately. It might be in reference to the Battle of Bannockburn, which was June 23rd, 1314. And so that's my guess. I'm going to shoot that as my, because I want to say that the person who wrote this bio definitely did some research, and that's super cool because I always do like seeing the historical references.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest here. If I know for myself, and I know for a lot of players, if you have looked into the background, Heroscape has taught you a little history. Because I've learned a little history from Heroscape. Yeah, so I'm gonna shoot for 1314 on Earth, the year 1314 on Earth, and I looked for that Scottish saying. That's an actual thing, so that's pretty cool too. The swifter the storm, the stronger it is. I googled it, and it's a proverb, an actual written thing, back in 1882. So. Pretty cool stuff.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's your little history bit. That I was thinking about because when you have your fantasy characters, you use the fantasy stories. When you have your historical characters, let's dig into some history. That's what I was able to find out about this character. So, pretty cool stuff.
Awesome. And I know we have some history buffs that listen to the show that watch these videos sometimes. So.
Please
or correct or add on or anything else, any other information you want to say, please write it in the comment section, either on this segmented video or on the main live stream video comment section on YouTube below, and give us some insight. Let's expand our knowledge on the character and the lore of this. We would absolutely welcome it. So let me just let's wrap this up by saying when synergy benefits we already talked about a little bit, but Knights of Weston as well as MacDirk Warriors, the 4th Massachusetts line, which is Joe Crazy's favorite.
Yeah, man, they're great.
He loves them so much. C3V SOV Custom Synergy, Sir Auric, Captain John Varon, Eben Armor. Yeah, and again, just there's links in the description below. Check out the books of Heroscape for all these miniatures on how to get them, how to use them. Always love reading through those tactics and everybody's thoughts and comments on that. So with that, any other final thoughts before we wrap up on Sir MacDirk?
I used to think it was once per turn, but it says once per round, so
yep.
I didn't really notice that. You'd think it would be one of those reveal an X order marker and then you get to use it, so it's more you can keep track of the round, right? If you already used it. So I don't know. That's just an interesting thought.
Yeah, and it's a very important thing to really read the instructions, because I've made this mistake. I still make mistakes. I lose my mind. But for this, every round, it's not every turn, it's every round, which is still fun. It's still fun to use. And you learn to use the ability well for Sir Alastair there. Absolutely. Anything else before we close?
I just want to say
go ahead, Jim.
Alastair's a fun character for me because he was the first character I ever lost in my collection.
Oh, jeez. No.
So like every time I see him, I'm like, oh yeah, that was such a great moment when I couldn't find him. Okay? But I managed to actually get him again thanks to the fantastic salespeople on eBay. I bought him because when Age of Annihilation was being announced, the Frostclaw Paladins were actually bonding with Jandar champions, and he was one of the only champions I didn't have at the time. So yeah, that's another combo I definitely need to try out. I have not tried out officially in a game yet, is seeing the Frostclaw Paladins work with the rest of the heroes of Jandar, because I was like, I'm excited. The idea of them playing was so cool in my mind. You know, giant bears next to the human heroes, like, yeah, but we'll get there eventually.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else? Nada? All right. So this has been, and with Rogue Idealist and the Elysium saying F in the chat. I'm always confused by those things, but I know it means it's something positive. Yes, this has been looking at Alastair MacDirk with looking at squads and heroes segment of the ToV podcast. And until next time.